here's Michael Smerconish.
Some of my stats, just not too impressive. I lied in high school when in the football program it said that I was 5'10". I'm 5'9". I'm a 59-year-old man coming in today at just under 2 bills. That's the truth. Every time I get on that scale for the annual physical, my SATs were only a 990. I do feel as if I should point out I was able to get admitted to great schools and graduate Phi Beta Kappa, but a 990 back in the day. My Uber rating, ladies and gentlemen, is a 4.67. But here, funny, right? But here is my redeeming quality. I am a minus 1.33 from AdFonts. Vanessa Otero is the founder and CEO of AdFonts, and she is here to discuss. Vanessa, I feel like I should be saying to you, I wish to thank the Academy because I am so proud of my rating at your organization. What is AdFonts?
Hi, Michael. Thanks for having me today. It's Adfontes Media. We're a news rating organization.
Adfontes.
Yeah,
okay,
it means
Sorry
to the
about
source.
that.
No worries. It means to the source in Latin. And our mission is to make news consumers smarter and make news media better. And we're a news rating company. We rate news sources, including websites, TV, and podcasts for reliability and bias.
For how long have you been doing this, and why are you doing this? You're by day, you're a patent attorney in Denver, Colorado, right?
Not anymore. As of a year ago. And
okay.
I practiced as a patent attorney for 6 years, but in the run up to the 2016 election, I, as a hobby, created this first media bias chart because I wanted to talk to my friends about their news sources and politics online. And it just went viral on the internet. It grew and grew and grew. And in 2018, I founded a company because I wanted to have people besides me help me with this process because I wanted to mitigate my own bias. So we use a group of analysts, paid analysts that are trained in our content analysis methodology, and they're left, right, and center. And they analyze news sources for the scores that I mentioned, reliability and bias.
Vanessa, how can this be objective and not inherently subjective? Talk to me a little bit about your methodology.
It can't be 100% objective. I mean, there's subjectivity to it. I mean, we all have to admit from the beginning that all of us are biased. So the best we can do is mitigate our bias and try our best to be as minimally biased as possible. So, in the middle does not mean unbiased. There's actually no such thing. And we have 2 dimensions, reliability vertically and bias left to right. But it can mean 3 things. Minimally biased, so you're trying as best as you can, or balance of biases, or centrist bias, which is the bias towards centrist positions. Our team, we have left, right, and center analysts, as I mentioned, and we have them self-identify on about 20 different political positions on their own views on that as when they apply. And we've got former teachers and journalists and your PhD students, folks from lots of different professional backgrounds, but they all have great analytical skills and good political knowledge. They get together on Zoom calls every single day, 3 of them at a time, and look at articles and episodes of podcasts and TV shows. They will literally sit there and read them and watch them together, rate them, see each other's scores, talk about them. And that's how we come up with a score for a particular article or show.
So, for example, in my case, relative to the work that I do at CNN, your crew has watched me on a repeated basis and assigned ultimately a numerical value both to my reliability and to my bias.
Yes. They watch several episodes together.
The website is great, and I want people to watch this interview on YouTube. But ultimately, what you do is there's a graph, and the graph is an ideological spectrum, and then you can move your cursor, you can move the mouse, and you can target in on any particular outlet or personality. What's the universe of outlets or personalities whose data is contained in your records?
Right now, we have 1,025 of our websites, podcasts, and TV. So most of those, about nearly 700, are web like web and print sources, media like New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and most things that you can read online, and almost a little over 200 podcasts, a little over 200 TV shows. And these are all news and news-like information.
By way of illustration, Fox News, reliability 35.87, bias 14.61. On the continuum, you've got them appropriately, I would say, far to the right. What does that mean that their reliability is a 35 and their bias is a 14?
Yeah, so our scores between 24 and 32 are usually mostly opinion, or there's a mix of variation in reliability between different articles. I believe you've got the Fox website rating in front of you.
Okay,
So,
yes.
the Fox overall TV is a little bit different. It's actually a bit lower, and you'll see a big spread on see a big spread between different shows. So certain primetime shows are lower, certain daytime shows and different anchors are higher. And so 24 to 32 is mostly opinion, 32 to 40 is mostly analysis in our reliability scale. So the sources that fall in there, there's a lot of sources that fall in there. And because we have a lot of analysis and opinion news content in our media universe, and and we also have a lot of content that's mixed in reliability. They have some fact reporting stuff, but they also have some stuff that's problematic or propagandistic or even misleading.
How should I evaluate this? Here's Sean Hannity. Reliability 16.65, bias 23.44. In lay terms, what does that mean? He's way the hell over here to the right in your graph.
Yeah. So, if anything that's in that 16 range for reliability, our scale, it's a weird scale. It's not necessarily intuitive to folks when they first see it, but it's from 0 to 64. And so, from a 0 to 16 or that top of that 16 range, it's going to be between problematic or propagandistic and misleading. So to get a score, our analysts like that, there's repeated content in there that we've identified as misleading, and then the score to the right, that's really close to the hyper partisan right, most extreme right range that we've got on our chart. So that's go ahead.
Well, where do you want to be? I mean, where should I, as a journalist, aspire to be? Because Hannity is a 16.65 for reliability and a 23 for bias. Me, reliability, I'm more than twice that, 36.60. And this is the one I'm wearing as a badge of honor. And you tell me if I deserve, is this something I should be proud of or not? My bias rating, according to your analysis, is minus 1.33. Am I right in thinking that in a perfect world for bias, you'll want to be a 0, and I'm pretty damn close?
Yeah, for bias, absolutely. So we're looking for minimal bias, and so a score close to 0 is good for bias. Now, like I said, middle is not necessarily best in our system, because there can be really balanced biases, and there can be centrist bias. So centrist political bias isn't inherently better than left political left bias or political right bias. There are good ideas on the left and the right. It's just how they're expressed and how they're supported by facts is what we're looking for, and that's what we look for in the reliability scale. So at the top, the stuff that's at the top of the news landscape in our rating system is original fact reporting journalism, the kind of work that journalists do, like getting news stories and getting new important information factually delivered, truthfully delivered to their audiences. And
who comes out on top in your reliability category? Give me some news sources or personalities.
Well, AP and Reuters, because they're wire service, because the format of what they do is
right.
Journalism, like on the ground delivering stories. That's the format. In a lot of local news falls in that high category as well, because again, it's journalists on the ground. So it doesn't matter if you're big or small, you can deliver great journalism, investigative journalism. And then below that is a section of good important news, and some of my favorite news publications are in this range, it's analysis, complex analysis, because there are conclusions and inferences of meaning, and and they're just supported by lots of facts. So the better supported by facts your conclusions are, the higher you are going to be on the analysis scale. So if you're that 36 to 40 usually reflects that the content has lots of facts and analysis in it together.
Who's at the low end of the totem pole for reliability?
Well, we have some outright fake news sites, so
Okay.
we measure the whole gamut, from great journalism organizations to all the analysis and talk shows, to opinions and blogs, to propaganda sites, to the fake news. So at the bottom, I think the lowest scoring one we have on there is something called Before It's News. It's a just total fake news site.
Does anybody get close? I recognize, you've said it twice, I recognize that being, at a 0 is not necessarily good, because as I'm understanding, what you're saying is that you may be biased toward a centrist perspective, which to me is not such a bad thing, by the way, but your point is duly noted. If I'm at a minus 1.33, is there any individual or outlet between me and a 0? Is anybody less than a minus 1.33?
I'd have to look, but I think that's about the closest score you can get to a 0. We might have some your financial publications or things like that are just really just straight the facts all the time.
I'm just elated with this. I am elated. I'm not sure that I want to be a minus 1.33. Maybe I'd want to be a plus 1.33, but I'll take it.
Yeah,
I will take it.
And if you had a bigger sample of your show over time, then you might get even closer to the middle. So the reason I say that about the middle is look, we're capturing what's left and right in America right now. It's contemporary, and that changes from time to time. If you look back at before the Civil Rights Act, what was the left position and the right position on whether there should be segregation? It's not necessarily, one side was for it and one side was against it. And so the better argument went out that segregation is wrong and we shouldn't have it. And that's the position we all adopted as a country. And that's not considered a left position anymore. Right. So it's not like the middle was necessarily the right position there.
Totally understood. Before you leave me, so that people don't think that I'm omitting CNN by reference, CNN is a reliability of 43.52. That's pretty damn good. Bias, again, just for reference, bias, I'm a minus 1.33. Bias, you have Hannity at a plus 23. For bias, you have CNN at a minus 9.01, meaning to the left side of the scale, because it's a minus, and they're a 9. Anything you can offer in terms of analysis of CNN generally?
Yeah, and that's the web content I believe you have as well, right? So we have I'll say this similar thing that I said about Fox Web and Fox TV is for CNN, the TV content is for the left and further down on reliability. Now, why? Because the formats of cable news is often a lot of opinion and analysis. So and the trend is that the later in the day, later in the evening, the more prime time the show is, the more opinion it tends to be, and the more pundits you have on there. So the content is just so much more heavily opinion. So that's why there's a difference between the TV content and the web content. The print stuff is just usually more straightforward delivering news. Pure pundits.
Is any award ceremony planned? Is there a red carpet in my future?
Maybe, folks have asked, because folks who get high middle ratings on our chart are pleased, or even if they're high a little left, high a little right, that's a good thing. We want to elevate the work of people who are trying to bring people good information, the work of journalists. So yes, I'll say it's in the future. I just can't say exactly when.
Well, it's funny, Vanessa, because I wear your rating as a badge of honor, but it's not lost on me that some who come in on the far right or the far left probably similarly
Mhm.
wear that as a badge of honor. I guess it's all in
Mhm.
the eye of the beholder. Hey, I have put links to your organization in all my social media because what's fun is to go online, hover over the website, and zoom in and see what the numerical ratings are for a whole host of outlets. And I think people will have fun doing it. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really, I'm just embarrassed that I haven't been aware of you previously, and maybe you'll come back and we'll do this again and talk about other people beyond just yours truly. Okay.
I'd love to. Thank you so much.